Who do you think is the best team in the Pac-12 going into 2023 season? In this video, we're going to be going over the analytical composite power ratings for all of the remaining Pac-12 teams going into the 2023 regular season. This includes the average of S&P Plus, ESPN FPI, Sagarin, and Massey ratings. And we're going to go from the weakest to the strongest team, starting at the bottom with none other than Colorado, a team that was 1-11 last year. Their preseason rated 110th nationally. That the overall strength of schedule is 27. I mean, the biggest, obviously, they're one of the more newsworthy teams in the offseason for the Pac-12, mainly because of the hire of Deion Sanders, obviously, along with about 27 transfers coming in, which is great because half of them are from Jackson State, but they also had, I think, over 30 transfers out. The returning production's about 64th. I don't know how that got to be that high, because basically their entire team transferred, it seemed like. And again, I think the Vegas odds, the over-under win total for Colorado, I think was 3.5 for this whole year. But I think for national championship, they were as of last week, they're the 10th most bet on team to win the national title. That's outrageous to me, and that's just, I mean, Vegas is just laughing their ass off when people bet on Colorado to win the national championship. I don't even know if this team will even get bowl eligible. So Colorado, the lowest average rated team in the Pac-12 going into the season. Next, Stanford Cardinal, 3-9 last year. They're rated 95th nationally this year. 45th strength of schedule, 97th in returning production. I mean, there's nothing really much else to say about Stanford. They've been at the bottom ever since David Shaw left, and even when he was still there, they started going downhill. Stanford really hasn't been relevant at any time in the last, I'd say, 5 to 6 years. It doesn't look like it's going to be another good year for the Stanford Cardinal. Number 10, Arizona State, another team that's been on the decline ever since they hired their new coach and then lost subsequent coach. Herm Edwards was hired and then fired, I think, within 3 years. This team went 3-9 last year, 76 overall rated, 54th in strength of schedule, 85th returning production. I mean, this is another team that just doesn't bode well at all for this team, especially how good the top half of the Pac-12 will be going into the season. Their biggest rival, Arizona, a team that's actually been on the rise. I mean, anything's a rise from 1-11, 10-2-10. I think this team went, was it 20 or to 22 consecutive months without a win in college football. They won one in 2019, and then they didn't win anything in 2020, and then they won at the end of 2021. So they went almost 2 straight years without a win in college football, which was absolutely insane. But this year looks like they have a little bit of they could be this year's Kansas. They're the 5th most returning production in all of college football. They have the 63rd rated strength of schedule, which is kind of easier given the fact how hard the Pac-12 is, like I said earlier. We'll see if Arizona Cardinal Wildcats can see if they can get to bowl eligibility for the first time, and it seems like, I don't know, a decade. So see what happens with Arizona. Number 8, California. Team I think is the 2nd hardest strength of schedule in the Pac-12, 23rd nationally. They went 4-8 last year, 69th rated nationally, and 103rd rated in returning production. Again, another team I don't know why they're rated this high. They should be probably number 10, given all these metrics. But all the experts rated Cal as the 8th best team in the Pac-12 coming out of the preseason. Number 7, Washington State, a team that upset Wisconsin on the road in week 1 or 2 last year. Kind of fizzled out towards the end. Still had technically a chance to win their division in the Pac-12 with 2 weeks left. But it's a really solid team. They're 49th ranked nationally. They were easier strength of schedule at 70th, and they're 16th in returning production. Again, I think that's top 5 or top 10 in a Power 5. So Washington State could be a dark horse team to make some noise in the Pac-12 this season. UCLA, a team that did really good last year, but had that really surprising loss in the bowl game. I do believe it was to Pittsburgh. Rated 27th nationally, 74th overall strength of schedule, but 115th in returning production, including loss of Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I mean, this team was just gutted on the offensive side, along with Zach Charbonnet, the running back. I don't know how this team's rated 6. They have a lot of newcomers coming in, but anything's possible with Chip Kelly. But the top 5 in the Pac-12 this year is just so darn tough. I mean, look, number 5, Oregon State, 10-3 last year, upset Oregon in that chaotic fourth quarter against Oregon in the last game of the season. Went on to beat Florida, dismantled Florida in the bowl game. They're rated 20th nationally in the preseason, 62nd strength of schedule, and 38th rated in returning production. Their coach, I forget his name off the top of my head, is one of the more underrated coaches in all of college football, and he's going to have a big payday if he has another successful season with Oregon State. This is a team that people need to really look out for in terms of the national scope. This team is on the rise, and like I said, their coach is a big reason why. And Oregon State's rated 5th in preseason Pac-12. Number 4, Washington Huskies. Team that finished 11-2 last year gets their returning quarterback Michael Penix, as well as the 12th most for a team, which is again top 5 in the Power 5. Their strength of schedule is 39th. So there's a lot that could happen with the top 5 in the Pac-12. Any one of these 5 teams could make it to the Pac-12 championship game. Washington, even though they're rated 4th in the power rating, I think they have probably one of the 2 best odds to make the championship game, especially with that schedule. Number 3, Southern Cal, everybody's favorite. I think they're AP preseason the highest rated Pac-12, but in the power ratings they're 3rd, mainly because of that defense. They're 15th nationally, 59th overall strength of schedule, and have the 30th most returning production, including Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams and that dominant receiving core, and the offense is just miraculous. But the defense is still there, and it ain't getting any better, especially under Lincoln Riley. The defenses are never good. USC, I think a lot of people's pick to make the CFP this year. They're going to have to go 12-1 at the very least if they are to make it. They actually have to beat Utah and actually play some defense against that team if they want to make it to the CFP for the first time. But they're at number 3. Number 2, Oregon, 10-3 last year, 11th nationally. Beat UNC in the bowl game, I do believe. Their strength of schedule is 67th, but returning production is number 11. Another top 5 team in a returning production in the Power 5. They get Bo Nix back. They get a lot of their offense back. Oregon, I think, is the other team that a lot of people are picking to make it to the Pac-12 championship game. If I had to pick the 2 teams right now, it would be Oregon and Washington. But that's why they play the games, and Oregon right now is rated number 2, only behind the 2-time defending Pac-12 champion, Utah. 10-4 last year, just really dominated USC in that Pac-12 championship game. They're rated 10th nationally preseason. Strength of schedule is 28th. Returning production is 27th. I mean, when you have Cam Rising, your quarterback, who's led you to 2 straight Rose Bowls, coming back, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick against Utah. Can they do it 3 years in a row? The odds are drastically stacked against them, but they have beaten the odds each of the last 2 years. So here's the overview of the Pac-12. As you can see, the top 6 are rated in the top 30, including the top 5 are in the top 20. And then the bottom half of the Pac-12 is just a massive drop-off. It goes 10-27 for 1 through 6, but then 49-110 for 7 through 12. So that is your overview of the Pac-12 and the preseason composite power ratings. Who do you think should be higher? Who do you think should be lower? Ultimately, who do you think will win the Pac-12 this year? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at SportsNerd92. And see you in the next video, guys.